Welcome back on the AM show. And as promised, we'll give you our serving of big stories. And we're going to be having a conversation with Dr. Nyaho Nyaho-Tamakloe. And he's going to be giving us his verdict on matters of national scope. He's going to be sharing his thoughts with us on governance issues and current trending matters. We all know him. He takes no prisoners. He is our guest this morning. And let me just say a very good morning to Bernice Abubeidud-Lansa, who's been
good morning.
hiding so far.
Oh, have I? Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, Bernice.
Good morning to you too.
Even as we get ready to host Dr. Nyaho Nyaho-Tamakloe, quite a number of issues that have come to the fore. Yesterday, you were speaking of the Meek Mill drama that was unfolding. And have you seen the comments on social media?
I've seen a lot of them. I've seen his own comments and apology as well. I've seen what persons believed to be communicators of the NPP or sympathizers of the NPP have been saying in defense of Meek Mill's actions. So it's just interesting. Some people trying to equalize here and there, some offering some tangible explanations to certain aspects of the video. So it's just a mixed bag of issues when it comes to Meek Mill's.
What I cannot, I look at it from both ends. And yes, sometimes I consider the angle that, look, if Party A were to be in power, all those from Party B would be reacting in a certain way. Yeah. If Party B is in power, all those from Party A would be reacting a certain way. But then again, what happened? The valid question that some people have raised, would you see this happen at the presidency in other countries, other jurisdictions? And let's not look far. Let's look at Africa. Would this happen in maybe a Kenya, a Rwanda, a Nigeria? Those are questions to be asked about the security breaches that maybe happen. When I hosted Selim this morning, he was speaking about the fact that for him, he thinks either someone benefited monetarily for some of these things to happen, for access to be given like this, or it was just the bit about, provincialism. He is from here, he's coming to the country, let's do everything possible to make him feel, and let's hobnob with him. This is how we're hanging out with Meek Mill. But in essence, I don't know whether we didn't take it too far, honestly. I don't want to go full haul and criticize, but at the same time, I have my own concerns.
So Meek says that, look, they wanted to showcase Ghana. And if you watch that video very well, there were other aspects of it that didn't feature the Jubilee House. So it looked to me more like he was just trying to create a reel or a compilation of his activities in Ghana, which included his visit to the Jubilee House. But yeah, they're very legitimate questions about whether we didn't let our guards down too much. Could he, for example, have just been allowed to take a photograph and use that instead, to showcase his visit to the Jubilee House? Could this have been avoided? Did someone sleep on his job? That's the question, because the other thing too is, some of these things, they're put in charge, certain persons are put in charge of certain things. Is it possible that someone slept on his job? Obviously, because you don't expect the president to... Well, some have asked for heads to roll. Samuel Okututa-Blackwell, for example, says heads must roll immediately. On social media, we've been out and about speaking to some of you, and some of you agree that heads must roll immediately, but will we see that? That is the big question. And I think he's apologized. And so it waters it down a bit. Obviously he said he's accepted. So let's just see what happens in the coming days and whether we would see any action being taken against any group of people.
But you see, it's one thing for Meek Mill to come out and say, okay, if this has caused any storm of whatever, I am sorry. But how about those who oversaw this entire bit? How about those who watched it happen? Well, I guess only time will tell. In the meantime, Stonebwoy has also taken some stray bullets on that. Charlie, right now, when people are, you don't want to. What did he post? 2 fire emojis under Meek Mill's,
Yeah.
post, including the bit about the video, and people have taken him on. So the 2 fire emojis, what do they mean? Were you approving what he did and all of that, Charlie? It is
like
what
I
it
said,
is.
sometimes it's about perspectives. And so this gentleman on social media, who's a photographer, who was just trying to seek answers, and he asked questions like, did anybody go to the Jubilee House and seek for permission to film and was not granted? He was doing like a survey, and he wanted to find out people's personal experiences, because the other question is, did Meek Mill get permission? What
access that others here
didn't
wouldn't
have.
get. Right.
What was it in it for us, for government to say, okay, you've sought this permission, we'll give it to you because we see a certain benefit in it for us. And once again, we haven't heard government side of this whole issue. So it makes it a bit one-sided. And then we are not too sure what's happening. So
I have asked myself questions because, and this morning I brought it up. We've seen Shatawale, Sarkodie, what's his name, Stoneboy. All of them go to the Jubilee House. We've never seen any videos or stuff like that. So, I mean, it then raises the questions about maybe they didn't ask. Maybe they didn't.
That's what this photographer, for example, was trying to seek answers to. And the other thing too is, when I saw the caption the first time Meek Mill shoots video at the Jubilee House, I was expecting to see like a music video. Like, you know how they produce music videos, and he's an international act, and so we know if he's going to produce a music video, so to speak, it won't be of this quality. So I thought to myself, wow. How could he? But I watched it again and I said, okay, there are concerns, I agree. But I think some people are
blowing it out of proportion. Right.
When you say shoot a music video, it's as though he went there with some, heavy equipment, cranes, and then there are concerns, I don't dispute
but must it be that before it's a video? Because nowadays, phones are used. And
so yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he filmed something on his phone and put it together in a video. Okay, so I mean, well, it is what it is, Benjamin. But we'll see, like I said, how it goes in the coming days and see if there will be what others have called for heads to roll. But it's now time to continue our conversation on a certain President Akufo-Addo, even as he begins his third year. And this morning, we've been joined by Dr. Nyaho Nyaho-Tamakloe. Good morning to you, Doc, and thank you so much for joining the program.
Good morning. How are you? I'm
doing great. I hope you are too. So Benjamin and I were just talking about a video of a young rapper from the US that's trending on social media. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you? And do you also share in the concerns that have been raised about it?
I saw just a little portion of the video, and I was really surprised because I simply cannot understand how national security will sit down and permit this to go on. Firstly, I would just like to cite an example. One of your own colleagues, Samima Muslim, years ago, was with a group, and they were invited, I think, to the White House. And I remember clearly that Samira Muslim had to be dropped out of the group. Reasons given were quite bizarre. But they principally believed that she is of a security risk. She's there, she's alive, you can call them partner. Now, how a group of people, mind you, our black brothers in the US are our brothers and sisters, but there is no way, I say no way, anyone can get close to the White House without security checks and all sorts of things, let alone be allowed to jump around the White House in the name of the Republic and then come out with some that are so insulting. I believe strongly, and I know that nothing will be done about this. Nothing. I know the government. I know how they behave. I have said time and again that Akufo-Addo is not a listening president. He's not. If it had been maybe Kufuor, I would have seen a different picture. In fact, Kufuor time, this would not go that far. But this is what we are in now. It's unfortunate this happened at the beginning of the year. This is what I was saying.
And Doc, there are those who want to escalate this and say, I mean, this is a unique instance, but it probably is telling on how a lot of things are done without careful attention to detail and ensuring that things are done properly under this government. Do you share in that as well, or you think that may be an overstretch?
I think I do agree with that group of people. A lot has happened in this country since my friend and my brother Akufo-Addo came on the scene. A lot, there have been complaints left, right, center. I have come out immediately, I think 2 weeks after his ascension to the throne. I was interviewed by Akufo-Addo, whether it was a planned interview from your own TV station. And Gifty asked me certain questions based on what I said before the elections. And she was expecting me maybe to sort of withdraw what I said earlier on. I told her that there's no way I'm going to withdraw this. I am convinced this is what this gentleman will do. And lo and behold, that is what is happening now. You see, I keep on always trying to compare Akufo-Addo to J. Kufuor. I think I might be wrong, because both of them are very good friends of mine. But if Kufuor had not ruled before Akufo-Addo, we might not have seen the change, the difference in the two of them. But I'm glad that happened. Now we know the difference. However, Kufuor formed a government with people who know the party, people who understand the party, people who believe in the philosophy of the party, and people who know that if they fail, it is a disgrace to the whole party. That is not what we are seeing now. Most of the ministers, I can assure you, came on board. They saw it as a gravy train and they just jumped on. And we are seeing the results. And the sad thing is that despite their incompetence, they are still in position. Now, let me just give one cardinal example. Here we have a minister of finance who has failed abysmally. The whole nation is calling on him to step down. The president says no. So members of our own party in parliament came on board, demanded that the man should be removed. I came out to congratulate that small group, and I told them that they have done well, and but for them, there might be security problems in the country. But they came out at the right time, and I know exactly why I said so. And I warned them that very minute that if you are not careful, they will be talked out of what they have planned to do by Akufo-Addo, and it happened. So, we are now in a situation where no one can make any sensible statement from how the standards by, and it will be accepted by the leader of the party and the president of the Republic of Ghana. Yesterday, I was listening to your program when Reverend
Opuni Mensah.
Opuni made a very important point. He spoke about two issues. The first was about the cathedral.
Right.
That he is a Christian. I'm a Christian as I thought. I fellowship with the Presbyterian Church of Ghana and Osu. That has been my mother church since I was born, from infancy. Now, Oponi said he's a Christian and definitely has nothing, I'm not quoting him, has nothing against cathedral being built. But the resources should not come from the state coffers. I agree entirely with that. Entirely. Because that was what Akufo-Addo told us, that the resources will not come from state coffers. He will organize it. And individuals who share the same sort of opinion come on board in the cathedral. I know that is another untruth, because nowhere in the world have I seen the cathedral being built even within 30, 40 years. Nowhere. I don't know of any cathedral, not even the one in Ivory Coast. Now, the second point he made, which was very important, was that politicians come to the people to beg for their votes. And when they beg for the votes and they are given, they come in cars with a dispatch rider with a siren on, expecting us to go to the side of the road for them to pass. In fact, I felt so bad when I heard that coming from the Reverend Minister, because what he said is a fact. And he showed one thing clearly, that there is no discipline in this country. Presidents are normally the only people who pass with a siren. Now, anyone at all, and I say anyone, I can put my hands into my pocket, go in somewhere, just call a police officer, put money in his pocket, and he'll pull me through the crowd. That's what is happening. Now, when I was a kid and Nkrumah was in power, I remember carefully, if there's anybody probably older than me, the person can come and deny what I'm saying. Ministers ride in their cars. Many a time, most of them, they sit at the back of the car with a police constable in the front seat, near the driver. That's all. They follow the traffic laws and regulations. No one should tell me things have changed and the traffic is now heavy. If you know you have an appointment at 2 o'clock, leave the house at 12. That's what I'll tell them. And it shows exactly the type of person that you are as an individual.
So, Doc,
even more,
sorry to interject, but so how did we get here? How do you think we got here from that point where leadership was more about serving the people and not, as we see now, appearing to be a lucrative business where young people are aspiring to enter? And you just spoke about Reverend Oponi Frimpo, who also cited that, saying that a lot of young people enter politics today within 5, 6 years. They're putting up mansions, they own so much. How did we get to this point?
I have talked about this time and again. In fact, quite recently, one of my interviews, I think, with your station or TV3, I made mention of that, or Metro. I feel sad when I see young people rushing into politics. People who have never worked in their life. We have them on both political divides. People who have never worked, right down from university, they get into politics. You see them owning machines, driving big cars, and that has become a norm. But I can assure them, and I'm saying it here today, that these illegal properties that they have acquired, because none of them can account for any of the properties they own, will definitely pass through their hands like the wind in a very short time. Because the people of this country will demand accountability. That is what our party stood for, accountability. And we have come to destroy it totally. Nobody is accountable. None of the ministers at least as far as I know, has stated his or her property since it came to power. None of them. None of them. Including, what do you call it, special prosecutors and all these sort of people. None of them. So when they acquire property, there's nothing you can do. But I can tell them the time is coming. And soon it will come. That people will have to account. If you own a bicycle, you must be able to account for it. If you're unable to account for it, then you have to answer. We've seen it before. Akufo-Addo said, most of you won't even know Akufo. A very popular politician from the Ashanti region. He fought for Kwame Nkrumah. But there were two things Nkrumah did, and I was very happy as a kid. A lot of people were happy. He built a mansion somewhere in the ridge area called Asante House. His wife bought golden bed for London, and Kwame Nkrumah brought him down. Yes, that's what we want to see. There have been a lot of infractions in this country. A lot, day in and day out. It's happening every day. Not a single minister has stepped down. But even let's have a look once again at the finance ministry. A finance minister who has failed this nation, brought us down to our knees economically. Now, a minister of trade resigns. And the person the president found most fit to occupy that position was or is the one who has failed the country. I don't know. At times I ask myself, what is happening to Akufo-Addo? I can't understand. Well, it wasn't like that when I knew him, when I was very close with him. And I've been close with him for years. I was very instrumental in his coming to the leadership of the party. Very instrumental. He knows it. So I get baffled. At least listen to those who are around you, who are matured, who know exactly what this nation has gone through. Some of us have seen a lot in this country. A government comes in and is destabilized. A government comes in, we have been able to hold the country together for 30 plus years. I was talking about an issue concerning a culture of resignation recently at the University of, I think University of Professional Studies or so, law department. And I was asked to make a comment. And my comment was that we have to learn the culture of resignation. And I'll give you a classic example. Years ago, and a gentleman is alive. You can contact him. These are the people you should talk to because they know, man, the person is far, far my senior. He was a young man. I was a student, medical student in those days. A young man, I think he was in the early 30s, called KG Osei Bonsu. Now, KG was given a ministerial position in the government that overthrew Kwame Nkrumah. He was, I think, a Minister of Information. That was a very, very important, powerful position. Now, this military junta removed the editor of the Daily Graphic. Listen to me carefully. Without the knowledge of the minister. And the minister, for the first time in our history, gathered courage and resigned, wrote a letter to the then head of state, General A.A. Ankara, that he has resigned. The general couldn't believe it. 2 points. One, he's so young, how dare him write a letter to him that he's leaving his government? Two, what experience has he got to take that decision? So the minister summoned him, the general summoned him into his office. And bold as he was, the general asked him to withdraw his letter of resignation. He said, no, sir, I stand by my letter. I say I cannot work with you on principle, first in the history of Ghana.
Right.
Nobody has ever done it until today. The sort of regulation we see now as regulations of convenience, that's all, but not based on principle.
Doc, on the bit of the asset declaration, there was some work done by the Fourth Estate, published on myjoyonline.com on the 31st of May 2022, and they found out that 19 of President Akufo-Addo's ministers had not declared their assets, at least 19 of them, so there were some who had done that. But on the bit of the finance minister being asked to take over the role of Mr. Alan Tremantin after his resignation, who would have been that person you would have chosen, considering the background that you gave, that people are already asking that the finance minister be sacked, and the president has asked his party members who are in parliament to hold it until the budget was read and then the IMF deal secured, and then they can begin to have those conversations again. Who in this government would you have, if you were President Akufo-Addo, asked to oversee that ministry?
That's an interesting question. But one thing I can assure you, I will not put a minister who has failed abysmally in that position. Because after the finance ministry, the most important ministry is the Ministry of Food.
So isn't it more of a situation of those ministries appearing to be quite similar, and not necessarily about he being Ken Ofori-Atta? It's more about those two ministries working hand in hand, and so probably the president was left with no choice but to ask him to oversee it. And that's why I was asking that question: which ministry or which minister could have been asked to oversee that trade ministry?
Now, as I said, you see, ministries are run by ministers. And you feel you cannot run that ministry, all you have to do is take your pen and resign. Now, Ofori-Atta has refused to leave the seat. Now, if I had been in the shoes of Akufo-Addo, there is no way. In fact, I would even find it so embarrassing to put Ofori-Atta in that ministry or ask him to act as a minister there. He has a lot of people around him. A lot of people. I keep on saying all the time. But he decided to put him there. And as I said, the two ministries, to me, are not, even though one cannot call them identical in any form, they really work hand in hand. And you don't need to put a Minister of Finance there. If the Minister of Finance knows exactly what he's doing and is busy, he won't have time for that. Secondly, you have deputies there. Any of the deputies could have acted for some time until you come on a substantive minister. You follow me? So that is what I would.
Right. So let's now we'll come back to President Akufo-Addo, your other concerns with other sectors of the society and government. But let's come to the New Patriotic Party, which says that it will make a decision on the 31st of this month on when to hold its general elections. And that story is on the front page of Daily Guide. Already we started seeing quite a lot happening. The resignation of the Trade Minister, Alan Tremantin, has been linked to his desires to become president. We've also seen social media campaigns begin. We've seen tags like BMW, Bawumia Win, and all that. Your quick thoughts on what the party is likely to do, also considering the situation we find ourselves in, where we need to close an IMF deal. Government was hoping to do that in first quarter of this year. And the concerns about our debt restructuring program not going too well. As the party in government and the party hoping to elect a flag bearer going into 2024, how all of this will play out for them?
It's going to be an enormous problem. Very, very enormous problem. And I don't know how the party really will genuinely handle the situation. Now, we have put the people of this country in pain. apart from the fact that the economy is not going right, nothing appears to be working. And I'll say it because that's what it is. We have borrowed heavily, that at the moment, no one single country or organization wants to give us anything. And that is why we have run back to the IMF. The part that I knew years back with his leadership, people who prepared us to come to where we are today, is not what I see today. They can have a program or come out with a program when and where to hold elections, or when and where to hold leadership race. But it will not be easy. Definitely there will be a lot of infighting. Though I don't see why already we have at least about 5, 6 contestants. Now, formally we knew that when we have one leader, there is a successor. I've argued that case strongly in favor of Akufo-Addo years ago when I was an ambassador. When Akufo-Addo himself paid a visit to my area. And in the discussion, I got to know that Alan Chiremante was being pushed forward to contest him. I stood against it. I stood against it strongly. And there are people who can testify that. I don't want to call names here. I stood against it in favor of Akufo. And based on that, I had a problem with former President J. Akufo. Now, finally, Alan Chiremante was asked to step down for Akufo-Addo, which he did, respectfully. Now, let's even say that Akufo-Addo did not promise him a position or promise him that next time around, I'll let you run. But to me, naturally, Chiremante should have been the next person. But he also failed during that short political career under Akufo-Addo. Why do I say so? The government was going wrong in almost everything. Corruption was at its highest level. There were a lot of infractions. I can't mention them. If Chiremante should have probably given himself a quiet opportunity, think through carefully, think about his future as a politician. What he should have done was to have taken the pen and resigned at that time. Years ago, I made mention of this on television. And if Alan Chiremante had done that, I can assure you that he would have become the automatic leader of our tradition. But I couldn't do it.
And so, if I get to you, the performance of this government will affect the chances of Alan Chiremante if he decides to be the leader of the party going into the 2024 elections.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The performance of this government will not only affect Alan Chiremante in any leadership contest, it will affect anyone who has served under the government.
You mentioned that he would have been the automatic leader if he had heeded your call earlier to resign. So who do you think now? Is there anybody at all who now deserves to be that automatic leader of the party, or who stands a better chance at it?
No, but all those who have presented themselves, I keep on saying, some of them disagree with me, and I'm glad that they disagree with me. Look,
hello, Doc. It appears that the feed got frozen there, but that's Dr. Nyaho Nyaho-Tamakloe. All right, I'm told he's back. Doc, sorry, we lost you for a few seconds. You were just saying that people disagree with you.
Yeah. I say, you talk about which of the contestants, or at least those who have shown themselves now, And I'm telling you, apart from what Alan was not able to do, there are others, probably people who might be showing. Hello?
I can hear you, Doc.
There are others who probably might like to come on the scene. But once again, let's look within our own ranks. I made mention of Kwabena Ajapong. Kwabena Ajapong is a very good material, but once again, he failed the litmus test. You see, politics, before you leave, as Jay before showed clearly, you have to practice for years, and you get the experience and the strength to lead. Now, Kwabena Ajapong, I back him strongly when he was campaigning for the position of General Secretary of the party. He got that position. He was later removed. And I thought he would have the guts to stand firmly as a leader. He disappointed me. I must say it, I told him already. For one simple reason, that he left his colleagues with whom he was dismissed to walk back into the fold of the present government, thinking only God knows what he did. And when he failed, he decided to walk back. And that was a big mistake. The other person who is also a very good material is Boachi Ajako. Very good material. Very, very good material. But he also, as I speak now, he was dismissed from office. No reasons were given to us as people of this country. He himself never spoke and tell us exactly what happened. Because something happened, some of us know.
But Doc, he did speak. He spoke on Asempa, and he also spoke to us about the incident. But he wasn't...
Did they come out with what happened?
Well, he narrated...
Before he was dismissed?
He narrated to us how it occurred, but didn't give the very fine details, if there are any that you know.
He should have come out with the details of what happened, because that will affect a whole lot of people. That is what this country wants. That is what democracy means. We are not children in this country. He should come out with the fundamental problem that led to his being dismissed. He has time still. He should come out with it. So if he's able to come out with the reason why he was kicked out of office, he might have the sympathy of some of the people, particularly some of us. He's not been able to do that. All he did was to come out and just talk, address us as if we are next to nothing. And I've been saying repeatedly that the people of this country are now sophisticated. They are not the same people we know years back. Now, as far as I'm concerned, looking at our party now, I don't know of others who have brought the face forward. No, but apart from the three, from the two, I think Bawumia, Alan Chiremate, and Kwabena Ajapong, I don't know of anybody who has shown serious interest in the leadership.
There's Kennedy Ajapong. I've seen some billboards around town.
I don't know Kennedy Ajapong, the party. I know somebody who makes noise in the party, but I don't know Kennedy Ajapong. You see, the problem also with us is that we always keep on praising people. What has he done for the party? He should come out with it. I don't know him. Others I mentioned, I know them, and I know the work they have done in the party. Maybe he might have done something for the party. If he has done something for the party, he should come forward and let us know. But I don't know what he has done for the party. All the names, the three names that I mentioned, even Baumia, definitely has done something for the party within the short period that he has been in. But you ask yourself, will he be able Will he be able to get the leadership of the party? That's the question you ask yourself.
So for you, as it stands now, there's not one person in the party who will or deserves to be the automatic leader going into the 2024 elections. What would it take for any of these people that you've mentioned to lead the party in 2024?
I think we have some in the offing. I think so. There are a few names I might have I've heard of in the offing, but they have not come out yet to let us know that they are interested. So let's wait, and when they come out, one can know what to do. Few individuals, I think, will be considered seriously by the members of our party.
You talk with it appears to me with such pain about the current state of your party. You use words like this is not how it was in the beginning and all that. The new crop of executives of the NPP as we speak, do you see them changing the trajectory to go back to what you refer to as what the party was known for and stood for? Or do you think that it's another trajectory of course?
That's a good question. And now, the recent national executive race we had was quite interesting. Now, what is painful is that those who we know that they are young people who has experience and the courage to work on the basis of the principles of the party rules and regulations did not show up. Unfortunately, they did not show up.
And what are these people? Who are they? Any names?
Names I would like to keep quiet on that.
Right.
But they are people, they're part. You follow me? Now, we have a young man now, I'm told he's a lawyer. Yeah. No one will have any doubts about his academic capabilities. There's nothing wrong with that. So, has he got the experience? Politics is of experience. Experience. If you don't have it, you have to learn it before you come to the forefront. You cannot, from nowhere, jump into the leadership of a party. It will never work. You can come and talk, and that is what even some of us are saying now. People who have never worked before being made ministers overnight. And the results, we are seeing it. So the present leadership of the party definitely cannot be compared with what it was years back. Matured and experienced politicians who would not think about themselves alone. But first and foremost, they'll think about the country. That is what our party was known to be. The country first. Now we are having it differently. So the present leadership we have, the national chairman, I know very well. He has been on the scene for some time. The general secretary, I really don't know him at all. And the other officers, I don't know them.
Could it be, Doc, sorry, could it be that you're just out of touch with your party? Could it be?
I'm not out of touch. I'm telling you exactly what really is the situation. I'm not out of touch. I'm very active in politics in our party. And I know what happens there daily. I'm not out of touch at all. You see, politics comes out with certain things. Let's look at the time of Akufo-Addo. Look at some of his key ministers. Just pick a man like Kojo Bamre. May he rest in peace. His death worried me a lot because he was a potential leader. A leader not just for our party, but for this country. But the man was honest and hardworking. We can't get anybody like that again since he left. But I've been watching what happens in the party very carefully. That's why I'm able to talk to you about contemporary issues that is going on there. But the point is, when I try to compare what has, well, not long ago, I mean, Kufo left the scene, it's not long ago. Kufo ministers, his ambassadors, and those who assisted them, you can't compare them with what we have now. I'm saying it, I don't care who's also God, I don't care. I don't care. I'm not a small boy. I know what I'm talking about. And Akufo-Addo had the opportunity to pick certain people who could have helped him to move this nation forward. But he ignored them. And those he picked, some of them had bad records in Kufuor's administration. So I am not surprised about what is happening at the moment. All that I'm praying for at the moment is that maybe someone will be met who will be principled, very sincere, call a spade if it's necessary, and move our party forward. And that intent, move the nation forward. Because at the moment, Ghana is no Ghana that it used to be.
Yesterday was a holiday. We were commemorating Constitution Day, which happened on Saturday. You just made reference to an earlier interview where you applauded the NPP MPs who were demanding the removal of Ken Ofori-Atta. And at the time, and you've just even repeated it, you claimed that it was timely because it averted a possible national security crisis. The president has spoken on the occasion of the 30th anniversary of the Fourth Republic, and he's asking us to work to protect our democracy. But with the current economic challenges we are facing, with all the concerns you've raised within the political space, even from your party, our democracy and where we are going and our current state, I want you to try and give me your perspective on the interplay between these various sectors that I've just mentioned, the economy, our general political space, and keeping and maintaining our democracy?
I think what I would say first is that as I see myself at the moment, my only prayer is that this Fourth Republic must survive. I'm telling you, I'm being frank with you. My only prayer, I keep on saying that this Fourth Republic must survive. Because if we fail again, then this country is doomed forever. So my daily prayer is for the Republic, this Fourth Republic, to survive. And I know God will let it survive. Because that will let us know those who really are leaders, who are interested in pushing this nation forward.
What will it take for us to survive?
We have to do the right thing. In fact, what is happening now, if it had been from years back, the government would have been booted out of power long ago. Now you can see that those who probably might have thought of that, or might be thinking of that now, also think about how they can handle the country. It is my prayer that we hand over to another civilian government. So that civilian government, I believe, is now learning from what is happening now. But if we fail to do that, the people of the country, I'm talking about Ghanaians, will get fed up. And when the people get fed up, it becomes a different ballgame. And that is what I am praying that it will not happen. The Fourth Republic we have to pray that it really survives. But as I said, if infractions are going on, government fails to listen to the people. Government pushes the people by the roadside and passes with sirens. Government doesn't listen. Government is not accountable to anybody. Monies get disappeared and nobody says anything. The anger of the people is what I'm afraid of. But not somebody who will do a coup d'etat. No. I've been a soldier before. I know what coup d'etat entails. I've tried it before. I have tried it before. I was in prison for that. Myself and other officers. That is not the answer. But what I dread is the people's annoyance. And that is what the security agents in this country, and for that matter, those who see to our security, must take seriously.
So, in your earlier submission, you referred to President Akufo-Addo as a friend and a brother. And yeah. I was just curious because I've heard you on so many platforms, talk so much about this government. You share ideas, you have thoughts, you have some advice to offer. If he was a friend and a brother, why not talk to him directly? Why not go to him and say, look, do it this way and you'll succeed?
I think I said he was a friend and a brother, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
He was a friend and a brother. Akufo-Addo used to listen a lot. I know him. But what is happening to me now, what is happening to him now, and quite recently I met a close relative of his, a very close relative. I don't want to go into details, but one day it will come into one of my books. He saw me, but he greeted me, and unfortunately I didn't see him. And he thought I was trying to snub him. No. So when I met him at the conference, I called him, he came and he greeted me. I said, I didn't see you. He said, call me again. I said, I didn't see you. And he said, Doc, what is happening to your brother? This is the way he put it. And I said, I don't know. You are there with them. And his conclusion to me was that he thinks what is going on now is spiritual. That, to quote him, that is exactly what he told me a few days ago. So if it's spiritual, then we have to sit up properly. Because some of the things that Nana Addo does, I don't understand, honestly.
Is it a deviation of who you've known him to be over the years? I mean, because there are some who say he's always been like this, he's been arrogant, we warned you. But you say he was a close friend and a brother. Would you say that what you see currently with how he's running his government is a deviation of who you've known him to be?
You see, I won't say Nana Addo is arrogant. The word arrogance really is quite different when I look at Nana Addo. Nana Addo is not arrogant. Nana Addo, when not happy with issues, you get confused. And he tries to massage his ego in such a way that you think he's arrogant. He's not arrogant. I don't think so. You see, what is happening now is that those who can tell Nana Addo that, my brother, you are going the wrong way, are not around. That's where the problem is. Well, some of the decisions some of us cannot understand. There are people who can tell him, if they were not even in government, but he consults them or talks to them. And allow me to mention one or two names. Dr. Charles Kubro. These are people who, they will tell you as it is. And I think that is healthy for an individual who is a leader of a country. Do we have somebody like that around him now? No. Somebody who could have done that too is Akoto-Ampao, but I doubt if he's doing it, or even if he's listening to. I would have done the same also. You follow me? Now, if you keep on advising somebody and the person is not responding, I think you advise yourself and then take a back seat. But some of us will continue talking. I'll continue talking. I'll continue talking because I want the good of this country. I want the good of this country. So I'll continue talking. But if we are not careful, as I kept on saying, I am not worried about the putsch. No, I'm worried about how the people of this country will behave in future. That is my greatest concern. Because that one, it comes out in a different way. And as I said before, if you don't allow the people to express their views and you keep on ordering them around, one day they will force the ball of democracy into your mouth and push it down your throat. That is what it is. It has happened in a lot of countries we know who are now democratic. Ghana should have been miles ahead of most of this country, miles ahead. I mean, how on earth can we bring people from Taiwan to come and teach us how to grow rice? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. We can grow rice there if the leadership knows exactly what it's about.
But these are partnerships, you know.
Look, you see, we know this jargon. I mean, partnership in what? We know this sort of thing. It's all because somebody wants money. What partnership are you talking about? Somebody wants money. We all know that. They know it themselves too. That is the sad part of it. And they try to camouflage things in such a way that the ordinary person who probably has not got the experience will not be able to read through. What on earth? It's just like going to, what do you call it, a China and telling them they should come and grow cocoa for us. Now, mind you, we taught Malaysians how to grow palm oil. The palm. We sent it there. Ghanaian agriculturists went down there to plant it years ago. What has happened now? At the moment as I talk to you, the world market says that the world is short of palm oil. We ourselves, we are importing palm oil from Malaysia and other places. It's the question of the leader.
So, Doc, you have a problem with Thailand being the fourth leading rice producer in the world, coming here, partnering local businesses, sharing knowledge, and helping us also develop that sector, because you see what an opportunity for money making, corruption. What exactly is it?
Yes, we have mentioned it. Money making and corruption. That's exactly what it's going to lead to. I can assure you. Let's try it and you see that I will be proven right. That's all. I can assure you.
Interesting. So yesterday on our interactive segment, we asked our audience what they think should be done by the president to change the next 2 years of his second term. And there was someone who said the president should do something unimaginable, something unexpected, like slashing his ministers, you know, listening to the people, reducing expenditure on the side of presidency. I want to give you the opportunity to share 3 key things that will change the dynamics for this country. Also keeping in perspective what we're going into with our IMF deal, our debt restructuring, which appears to be suffering a possible setback, and the elections. 3 things for you that can change the story for the president in terms of his legacy, for the country, and for the NPP as a party.
3 things. Very interesting. And then the first point that I'll touch will be the work of the Auditor General. If the Auditor General will be allowed to do his work, or at least recommendations that he will come out with will be implemented, that will save this country a lot. What happened before the last Auditor General was thrown out? Ghanaians have taken that as a no. The present Auditor General, at least, he has come out with certain things that are these being sent to. That's my point number one. Secondly, Akufo-Addo should be bold to cut his ministers just to 14, 1-4. From the 100 and something to 1-4. There are 14 competent people who can run this country. I can assure you about that. 14 competent people can run this country. Without even so-called deputy ministers. 14 people can run this country. And lastly, he should set the courts free. Justice.
Sorry, did you say the courts?
Yes.
Okay.
They should set the courts free. These various appointments to Supreme Court day in and day out should stop. Because it will never help this country.
But why, Doc?
As I've said time and again, when the court fails us, then we are doomed.
But the appointments to the Supreme Court needed to happen because there were some vacancies. Some had retired, one had passed. And so what exactly is your issue with his appointments to the Supreme Court?
Now, how many Supreme Court judges do we have, Adam? A small nation like that. Tell me, how many Supreme Court judges we have?
But what he's doing, the number is permitted within our constitution, within our law. So, I mean, the question is he doing anything illegally?
No, but even during the time of, I think, Kwame Nkrumah, we never had judges out. At the moment, how many do we have on the bench? You tell me.
I think there should be about 15.
Yes. That is not necessary. 7 Supreme Court judges who are solid can run this country. 7, maximum. You follow me? And they should be Supreme Court judges who believe in justice. And they know what really they are doing for this country. Like some of the names of judges, I can't even remember all. Say Akufo-Addo, say Akufo-Addo himself, that's Akufo-Addo, Nanado's father. Justice Van Leer, Justice Akolache. I mean, these were people you cannot compromise. Kwame Nkrumah, with all his experience, when people were sent for treason trial and they were freed by these judges, Nkrumah didn't see the danger. But he sacked the Chief Justice together with the whole setup. And that was the beginning of his problem. You follow me? Akufo-Addo should leave the judges alone. Yes, he can appoint. I say 7 Supreme Court judges is more than even enough for this country. That's all. So these are the 3 things you ask for. So that is what will bring peace. Now, the ordinary man in the street doesn't believe in the courts. I'm telling you. You see, I am on the ground with the people, so I know what I'm talking about. The ordinary person, when he's going to the court, doesn't believe in the courts. It's so sad. I mean, it's become just a routine. People go there, they listen to cases, they are sentenced or whatever it is, and they come out. Because they know what is happening there. He knows that if he's not somebody who can look somewhere or somebody who can talk for him, he has no future as far as justice is concerned. And that should be a big concern to a government. And as I knew Akufo-Addo years ago, a man I believe strongly that he believed in justice. He was fighting for the downtrodden years back. Classic case between himself and my cousin Chatuchi Kata. Never heard of in this country. In fact, that is what pushed him up. The case of the Chief Justice versus the President of Ghana. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give you the details. But that alone is a clear example that we've had different leadership before. Judgment was given the way it should be given, and people were happy. You follow me? So that is what it is, because judgment was given against the president, and he accepted it. The president accepted. So if people are asking or slashing down of numbers of ministers, I agree with them. They are asking for accountability, I agree with them. And they are asking also that there should be justice in this country, I agree with them. Where he is now, I would say it is too late to change anything. I'm telling you. Too late to change anything. The Ghanaians have a saying that Heni Ashele, Fomo Eshelagba. That is, you have the baby between the thighs of the mother. Either you get the baby out or the baby will die through asphyxiation. That's all.
Right. Doc, we'll be wrapping up this conversation shortly, but just by way of information on what the Constitution says about the number of Supreme Court judges we can have. Article 128 Clause 1 says, the Supreme Court shall consist of the Chief Justice and not less than 9 other justices of the Supreme Court. And as it stands now, we have 14 of them. And there's this one whose approval is pending. I think there are issues by the Veteran Committee in Parliament. But in wrapping up, I'd like to find out from you. We've spoken about the presidency. You've spoken about the things that could have been done better. But are there any 2 or 3 things that you would say you like? At least. It could be a policy. It could be a decision. Whatever it is, since President Akufo-Addo took over. Is there any 2 or 3 things that you can say, this one was good?
Let me first pick the Supreme Court number. 9 by the Constitution. We have abused that. So you can see that I'm quite clear on that. I suggested 7. Maybe at the review in future, it might come down to 7. Now, is there anything that this government has done that? Yes. When we were preparing to come to power, Akufo-Addo preached that he will make sure we get away from Gudginsberg economy. If he had done that, this country would have been in a better situation today. But rather, the floodgates were open for all sorts of dubious businessmen. We are a population of just about 30 million. But in the whole of Africa, we import chicken more than any country. Go and check it, you see. Chicken. Why? Simply because that is the way people will get their dubious money. You follow me? So as I said, yes, if he had pursued his own policy and what do you call it? And program that he preached to the people, get away from Gettysburg economy. We shouldn't be just a raw material nation that will be sending our products, unfinished products outside, that will be bought for nothing. Even prices are not determined by us. And then all the finished products from the
Hello, Doc?
developed countries, basis of economics. Very basic. I mean, this.
It appears we've lost.
That is what
okay.
says in such a.
All right, Doc. So my question was, sorry to interject, Doc. You're speaking about what he promised to do, and not delivering on that. But I'm asking you, since he came into power, is there anything, 1, 2, or 3, that he has done, any decision that he has taken, any policy that has been implemented that you would say was a good one?
No, the only thing I have told you. You see, if I want to cite it, there's nothing that they have come out with themselves. They talk of rules. They talk of rules. They talk of hospitals. They talk of what? I mean,
free SHS, for example. Free senior high school, for example.
HSS, yeah.
One district, one factory.
Free SHS. Look, our constitution says it should be handled progressively. It's nothing new. I remember when he was asked these questions on BBC, and I remember very well, he was asked the question, where are you going to get the money to run this?
Right.
He couldn't come out with any clear answer.
What about the year of return? You know, what about the year of return policy? There are those who say that has raked in a lot for the country. People coming in, Ghana being put on the map, being advertised as a place of destination for many tourists.
As I said, blacks in the diaspora are our brothers and sisters. They can come here anytime. Nkrumah did more in that direction. But Nkrumah brought in people who had influence on the larger group in America, the black group in America. You follow me? So they are brothers. We are always ready to receive them. So to me, it's nothing new. But you made mention of bringing in money. Of course, when a tourist is coming to a country, definitely he comes in with money. So I don't see it as anything exceptional at all. They are our brothers, just like as you are here today, you may have a relative who has been outside for years. It's coming back home. We have to receive them warmly. So I have nothing at all against that exercise. I have been very active in black activism years ago, you know, but to me that's normal. But let's come home. The government should show us. They should come out with it. Oh, I've been able to get X amount of money meant for a particular project, and this is the project completed. Because very soon their time is coming to an end.
Doc, we are wrapping up in 2 minutes, but I definitely cannot let you go without allowing you to touch on sports. Benjamin Akakpo spoke to you just before we were going to the World Cup, and we went there. We've seen the performance of the Stars. There's chant going on at the moment. Akufo-Addo has left. There's a lot happening within the sporting fraternity. What would you like to see? Also, we know AFCON is coming up shortly, especially for the Black Stars and the squad that just played in the World Cup.
You see, time and again, I come out with an advice, and people just brush it aside. I told them that Akufo-Addo would not be able to handle this boys right from the beginning. Number one, he was part of the group that were to train the boys. He was most of the time absent because he had another job in Germany doing. Secondly, he hasn't got that experience to handle the Black Star. Look, before we can really achieve anything in sports, as I see it now, government must really seriously pump in money. And pump in money to get one of the best trainers. When I say a trainer, that's a coach anywhere in the world. The sort of fourth class coaches we are going for cannot give us the results. Kwame Nkrumah years ago. Now, mind you, we've won the cup 4 times. 4 times, that's all. The first 2 cups were brought in under Nkrumah's regime because Nkrumah was interested in football. He comes to the park himself, regular. Then came in General Kutu Achiampu. He was also interested. In fact, he made himself Minister of Youth and Sports. Then he had a representative at the FA. Then after that came in Jerry John Rawlings. But before Jerry came, of course, General Akufo and others were around. Then Jerry came in. After Jerry, before Jerry was Dr. Lehman. Lehman also gave a serious talk to football. But just when he was about to reap what he had sown, he was kicked out of power. So Rawlings came in, and Rawlings took that shine out of him. You follow me? Now, one thing we shouldn't forget is that at that time, the country was in economic crisis, just like we are today. And we couldn't even get an aircraft fare to fly our boys to Libya, to Tripoli, or whatever they've had a match. Libya sent us an aircraft to pick Abedipele and others to Libya to play. And of course, the Libyans thought we are going to pull for them to win. It turned out to be a different case. We defeated them, and they never forgave us. I'm sure till today. They sent us back, but at the finals on the pitch, when we have scored them, they started throwing toilet rolls on the pitch. And the reason was quite simple. At that time, Ghana was in crisis financial, that we couldn't even afford toilet rolls in this country. So until government puts in money and focus on the Black Stars and make sure we have competent people running that place, we should forget about it. And believe me, if we are not going to stop this sort of getting boys from various clubs together and camp them for a week or days before a tournament, but rather concentrate on the boys we have. You get a coach who will train them, a coach who can turn a goalkeeper into a striker, then we should forget about it.
I appreciate your time here this morning, Dr. Nyaho Nyaho-Tamakloe. It's been an interesting conversation with you, and we're grateful that you could be a part of our show this morning. And later on, we'll get interactive with you.
Thank you very much also. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Right. Thank you. And